Hey everybody, welcome to the Pamvala stamps orientation. We want to make sure that people understand how to collect the stamps, what collecting stamps means for your community, how they get minted in the first place, and really the vision of what we're trying to build together. Literally a world where every time you're making a purchase, you're getting funding for your community. Like every action you take in the economy should fund your community, and that's what we're trying to build. So the reason that these stamp NFTs exist is because we want you to be able to collect them and fund your community. So again, from the beginning, Panvala has been a system that funds communities, but we've mostly been in the bootstrapping phase, the kickstarting phase, where the value going to communities was from our own currency. We literally created new currency and gave it to the communities in the network, and that's how we grew from 5 communities to about 82 communities where we are today. So now that we have enough communities in the network, it's time to actually execute on the vision, which has always been to steer value in our economy away from middlemen and into the budgets of every community in our society. So what these stamps do is they shift marketing dollars away from marketing middlemen like Facebook and Google that are collecting all the money from all your attention, all the money that businesses are spending to get customers in the door. We want to give businesses another option to literally fund communities to get customers in the door instead. So that's how these things work. Instead of just being something that's kind of like passive, like an ad, you might see it and not really engage with it. The reason that we think stamps are so powerful is because literally everyone in every participating community wants each other to collect more of the stamps. Like the highlighting people who are collecting stamps within a community, encouraging your fellow community members to collect them, actually benefits everybody in the community. It's how you get more funding for the cause that your community is trying to pursue, maybe more funding for the parties that your community is trying to throw. Whatever it is your community does together, the more people that collect stamps, the more resources you have to do it. So to give you kind of a higher level view of what's going on with these stamps, really the life cycle of how they work is they start by a sponsor creating a stamp for an action that they want every community throughout crypto for now, but throughout the world eventually, the action that they want people to do. So the next step, once they create a stamp, we announce it to the communities in the network. We want to help every community leader throughout Panvala and again throughout every community in our society know that there are these funds available for the communities for people who complete these actions. So then those community members mobilize. They're like, hey, I am a potential customer of Index Co-op. I'm interested in having some sort of index token rather than having to figure out what I want to invest in all the time. Let me subscribe to their newsletter. And again, if you're not in the market for that thing, you don't have to do it. It's not about trying to pressure people to do things that they don't want to do. It's about connecting people with opportunities that they're actually in the market for and funding the communities that they're in. So you perform the action and then you fill out a claim form to get the stamp. So again, at panvala.com/stamps, all the current campaigns are listed. You click claim stamp, and that gives you the form to actually claim the stamp, to choose which community you want to redeem it for, and actually put your Ethereum address in there so you can get the redeemed stamp in your wallet. And then the next step is that the community you chose actually gets that funding. So every community, even for communities that aren't token holders, because Panvala does run on its own currency, there is staking involved in Panvala. But even communities that have staked nothing still get to redeem the stamps for the face value of the stamp. But if your community is actually participating in staking, there's actually more value from Panvala's treasury available than the value of the stamps. There's been $11,000 of stamps issued roughly, and our quarterly budget is about 90,000 total. So the communities that stake are going to get more than the face value of the stamps. But you don't have to buy anything. We're not trying to get you to buy anything. What we're trying to do is organize people, organize as many communities as possible, and get them to make this network possible, where companies that want to get more customers in the door can literally just fund communities. All we care about is more communities participating. Actually, staking is what makes the bootstrapping model work. So we do want people to stake as well, but it's not required. All you have to do is participate to get funding. And lastly, once you redeem the stamp, you get the redeemed version of it in your wallet. The community that you chose gets the NFT that's worth money, And then you, the person who's redeeming it, gets a collectible, the keepsake. It's like, hey, I collected the stamp. I can show this off forever, but you can't use, it's not worth anything anymore because it's been used. Like a postage stamp, once it's been used, it has that stamp on it. It's like, it's been used. This works the same way. You get the used version of the stamp. The community gets the version of the stamp that's worth money. And that's the one that we use to allocate how we distribute our quarterly budget. All right. So again, one thing that people ask is like, who can collect these stamps? Do you have to be part of Pamvala? Does my community have to be part of Pamvala? Literally anyone can collect these stamps. There's no prerequisite. If you want these NFTs, we want you to have them. Go to panvala.com/stamps, perform the actions that the sponsors are looking for, claim those stamps, and you'll get the stamps in your wallet. If your community isn't part of Pamvala yet, if you want to support a community that isn't part of Pamvala, we want to help you plug them in. And if the community that you want to support is already in Pamvala, then you're already good to go. So that's that second question, where can the stamps be redeemed? Like we do want communities to be part of Pamvala to redeem these stamps, but Pamvala is not an exclusive network. It's not something that we're trying to gatekeep. The model that we're pursuing is more like a union where we want as many communities participating as possible, because the strength that we have to be able to shift value, to shift marketing dollars from traditional methods to stamp collection grows the more communities that are participating. So we don't really want to say no to people. We still have the ability to say no to people because, again, some communities are going to want to join the network that many existing communities might find objectionable, right? And the way that we're going to say no to those people isn't that I'm going to say no to them. It's that the existing communities will vote and say, hey, we don't think this community should be part of the network. But again, it's not a gatekeeping type thing. We want as many communities as possible because that's what makes this model succeed. So another question is, how much funding do communities receive for collecting stamps? So it's the face value of the stamp that you end up getting. So again, these NFTs aren't like the speculative NFTs that people are used to. It's not like a Bored Ape that is going to fluctuate in value. Like it's literally like a postage stamp where it says the amount that it's supposed to be worth. And again, postage stamps sometimes become collectibles and then they have different value as well. But when it comes to Pamvala, the value of the stamp is what it gets redeemed for. So it's the communities that aren't staking get the face value, and then the communities that are staking get divided the extra resources that Pamvala has between the communities that are staking. So they get the face value plus extra. Another question is, do the stamps expire? So currently they don't expire. There's no expiration date. You just collect them. So again, there's 3 campaigns up that are active right now, and there's not an end date really set. It's more of a while supplies last sort of situation. Anytime you run into issues, helping your community collect stamps, figuring out how to redeem them, figuring out what you're actually going to receive from Pamvala, we want to help you make that happen. You can email stamps@pamvala.com with any stamps related questions. And that's also the email address that you want to use if you want to start a campaign. So like if you work for a company that has a marketing budget and it's like, oh, we're struggling to use it in effective ways, that's the email address that you want to use to get a campaign started. Again, we think particularly in Web3, where things are all about the community first ethos, there hasn't been a community first marketing method that projects can use until now. This is literally funding communities using your marketing budget to achieve marketing goals. We only want you to spend to get actual the business outcome that you want. It's not like you're not donating to communities out of charity. And when you mint stamps, it's like, hey, we want to get customers in the door, and we want to fund the communities of our customers to make that happen. So we want to help you mint more stamps. There's about 5 potential campaigns in the works right now, and we're always looking for more because, again, the vision for Pamvala stamps, again, is every time you're making a purchase, the same way you get a receipt, you get a stamp that funds your community at the same time. Every action you take in the economy should fund your community, and that's the world that we're building together. So Pamvala.com/stamps is the place to go to get started collecting stamps. There are 3 stamps you can collect right now. I encourage you to collect all of them. And again, if you have any issues, any questions about how to make that happen, reach out to us.